I spent this whole week producing a couple of tracks to share this one arrangement technique that changed my life. And it will change your life as well once you implement it and once you start doing that for your tracks as well. And let me just show you what you can do with this technique. With this technique, you can go from a very simple motif melody, which sounds like this, just like the foundation to the track. And once you learn this technique, you can do stuff like this. So I hope you enjoyed the track. I call this technique the bass foundation formula, and in this video I will share bass foundation formula version 2.0. I refined it and I have right now like a better explanation of the method. So stay tuned for the video. It's going to be really hard. If you give me like 15-20 minutes of your time, you're not going to regret it. It's going to be amazing. So for those of you who are new to the channel, my name is Vlad. I create superstar music producers. I want you to be successful with your music, like make money, like and all that stuff, and hopefully with my tutorials you can improve your skills and become a music producer that you see yourself. So if you need some help with your music, all the links are down below. Check my website, feel free to book a call, let's have a chat, and I'll be happy to have a conversation and help you with your music. So let's get started. Going from a loop to a track is usually one of these like most challenging problems, and I'm working with some clients right now in my one-on-one coaching, and I see this trend like a lot. So, like, even for myself, making a loop is somewhat like simple, but how do you turn it into a full track? And that's the question that I'm gonna answer in this video. And before I show you the technique, the bass foundation formula, I want you to understand one thing, and this is like the addition which like makes it 2.0. Understand synchronicity. And once I understood it, it's like it changed everything. It changed how I see music, it changed how like I DJ, how I produce. Think like this: sound waves are physical, which is true, right? You want all your sounds to be in sync, same groove, same energy flow. It doesn't mean it can be a different rhythm for different instruments as long as it goes together with the main groove, right? So here we have like 3 examples, and I have here some arrows. So basically they mean that those elements are in sync, so they work for one groove, right? So the yellow one is sort of repeating the same pattern, just like adding a couple of accents. And a lot of times what we producers are doing is we are adding a lot of sounds that are like really unnecessary. Like once I understood, like, my God, like music is so simple, and all the reference tracks that you hear like on Beatport and Spotify, these are really simple. And once I started making my tracks simpler, it completely changed everything, right? So I'm gonna play you one more track that's I was working on tonight. It's like in the same project, kind of fun. I made like 3 tracks out of one, but I want you to listen like to how the instruments interact with each other, right? Let's check it out. So as you can hear, all the sounds I positioned strategically in my arrangement, in my composition, so they all work for one groove. And that's like so important to understand. You gotta respect the space in the track. Just have a look how spacious the track is, right? It's just like really a few sounds, just like one main lead sound, the cello. And what we producers do, we quite often just like overcomplicate stuff. You start adding a lot of different rhythms that don't go like along, or they just don't belong to the main group, right? So once you like start adding more instruments to the track, there's always like a risk that you gonna have like too much stuff. So when you start stacking a lot of sounds and forget about the space in the track, it becomes messy. And instead of reinforcing each other, the sounds start to fight for the space. So the track that I showed you, like, it's a really, really good example of how minimalism is super, super important, and how like good your tracks can sound when you have like one lead sound. Okay, that's the foundation that I really wanted to share. Okay, so let's talk about the bass foundation formula. This is the technique that I'm going to introduce if you're new to my channel. From my experience, I get the best results when I use my bass both as a bass and melody. I simply repeat the bassline melody with leads. It's super simple and sounds amazing. And every time I start a track, I don't have to spend mental resources on figuring out melodies and stuff. And you can apply this to any genre, of course, like maybe a little bit different. Just make sure you have synchronicity in your sounds, right? So I'm gonna show like 2 examples of the track. But basically, yeah, here we have the bass, and I'm just repeating that with like lead 1 and lead 2. And this is exactly the thing that I'm doing, right? So listen to the bass here. We can do like this. And then listen to the cello, right? I'm just repeating the pattern. And just because they have like the same energy, like they flow in the same way in the track. Like you can hear how like the bass, it really like accentuates those little notes that we have on the cello, right? Like, I just copied what I have, because essentially the cello is like it's this. It's just a couple of notes here. So this is one of the ways how you can use this technique. Let's check another example, which is a bit different track, but I'm using like all the same presets just to show you like this technique. It actually works, and you can make like full tracks from it just by adding a bit of variation. So here we go, like same key, different vibe. Right? And then if we listen to the cello and the main riff, they have the same melody as the bass line. And it sounds good. It sounds so simple. It sounds amazing. Maybe if you want to add like some variations every like, I don't know, forward bar, or like something like this, perhaps like something like this. Again, really depends. But it's important that you understand like the foundation, right? The bass foundation formula. All you really have to do here is you take the bass and you copy that to like onto your lead sounds. So the next technique that I'm using, and it's like inside the bass foundation formula, right? Like sort of the next step. I call this the accent layering. So once you come up with a bass melody, you can take it further with accent layering. You can keep adding sounds until you feel the track is full, right? Like the loop has to resolve, like it has to be nice, it has to be interesting. Basically with accent layering, we're trying to achieve a loop that has a nice resolution at the end. Sometimes I like layering leads, sometimes my bass patterns are more complex. Experiment and see what you like, right? So for example, here, if you listen to the full loop, and it's like the full loop that I showed you in the beginning of the video. Right, it is really cool, and all I'm really doing here, I took the melody, and you can see those are all the additional elements, but they have sometimes almost the same notes. Like you may use a different rhythm. So this, if you look here, this was, I mean, technically it is the same rhythm, right? It's like same melody, but I replaced like this with it serves like the same purpose. So let's now break it down. Bass foundation formula 2.0, like I'm super proud that I came up with a better explanation of the same thing that I did like a couple months ago. So this technique is cool, but how do you actually use it? Essentially, you can break down any melody into call and response, and like some additional stuff in between. Once you understand what parts of the melody you have, layering becomes way more fun. So if we split the whole thing into a couple of parts, right? Start off the phrase, the main call, right? Let's go back here, and we can do like this. Let me just use like some other colors. And this is going to be, right? So this is the start of the phrase. This is the call. It sets the mood for the melody. And then we can mute the rest. Because when we're making club music, it's going to be like pretty repetitive, again, depending on the genre, right? So this is the main phrase. This is the call. Now, the beauty of this method is if you can master like the call and response with accent layering, right? We'll talk about the accent layering. I'll show you here exactly. The next step of the melody is going to be this. This is like the middle part, something like that. And once you understand different parts of the melody that you have, then like just see how much I did here. But although like it's a lot of stuff, they don't conflict. Like it works really well with the bass line that I have, right? And then we just copy the same thing, right? So listen to the main part. So if you can in your head, or like in your mind, however you like it, split your melody into different sections and be really strategic about what layers you are adding to the sound. You can go from like this super simple melody, which is really cool, by the way. Like I do like it, to be honest, but you can go into something like this, which is more complex. I think it's like a little bit too crowded, so I might simplify it. But just to illustrate the example, let me talk about the layers that I have and what purpose it serves, so you can understand the bass foundation formula better. Okay, so we have the main lead sound, which like sets the mood. It's like the main motif, and then we have the main lead layer. So this is the one that like it's somewhere like beneath this one. It sounds like. Let's mute the reverb, right? So it's, and together with the cello, I of course need like to balance it a little bit more, but like we can do like this. It's like a cool addition, right? And once we listen on the speakers, let's listen on this one. This is one of my favorite preset, right? Let's go here. Right? It creates something, right? But sometimes maybe you want to go with a simpler melody. Like again, depends on the track. So main leads, the second lead layer. Now let's talk about the next one, which is going to be the impact accent. So once you understand where you have different parts of the melody, now you can be strategic. Okay, I want more impact in the beginning when the drop starts. So once I go here, we could go like. You can now hear how I brass, it's a trumpet that I use. like the impact is different, right? So just split your melody into different sections, and that's it. And then you can be really strategic where you are positioning your elements. Okay, the next thing is going to be the impact layer 2, like the blue one. I actually should have put it here. Again, it serves the same purpose, same notes, but different instruments. So this time it's a saxophone. I just like saxophone. It creates this like gangster, like bluesy, whatever kind of vibe. And with this one. And then again, it becomes like a call and response, which is really beautiful. So I hope it makes sense. Now let's talk about the impact layer 2. This one is again, like not impact, however you call it. It's just like this part of the melody that I took out, again, to make sure that they don't conflict. And then you kind of do like... And then again, like the whole point is to create some sort of interaction between the elements. It's like a call and response. And that becomes like the resolution, right? This is really cool. Let's talk about the next element, which is going to be the offbeat, or like, maybe this is not like really offbeat, but whatever. Again, it doesn't really matter. It's more like what I put. So let's talk about this sound. Listen, it again, like something that just creates a bit of... It's like an impact, yeah? Like once we have it like on the downbeat, it's more like an impact. If it's an offbeat, it's like offbeat accent, right? So it like such a small thing. But once you hit those two notes together, it becomes like some sort of like percussion or just something, right? And it's really nice. And then again, it just helps to resolve the loop, like to make it loop in a nice way. I'm repeating the loop. Okay, right? Variation accents too on the offbeat percussion. So we're now going to talk about these things, right? This is going to be really cool. So the percussion again is something like on the offbeats that... Right, so those percussion sounds, it's like a little ear candy. You don't want to like make it too crowded. Again, think minimalism, and I'm gonna be making a video about that. And now what we can do here, again, we can, in our mind, we can split the melody into different parts. And now check this out. Now this is going to be like the same notes as the main melody, but it's the variation accent. Whatever, like it doesn't really matter like how I call them. It's more like understand what you can do. So much that you can do. Right? It's so cool. Like I love it. I just love it. And then the last thing is going to be this little red sound. It's going to be the resolution. So same notes, different sound. Like this is my way of making music. I don't know how you like producing, but this is my way. And you can do like... Love it. And that creates resolution. Again, the whole point is... you take the melody, you split it into different sections, you create those accents, and now like instead of just having like one melody, you have this like really interesting drop, which... And then all you really have to do to give you the next steps, all you really have to do is you just have to create more variations to the loop. So maybe like if this time is going to be like this version of the track with these sounds, with the next section, which could be like, I usually like thinking bigger blocks. So it's going to be like 16 bars, right? This is one block. So I have like a couple of these blocks in the whole track, right? So think bigger, and like respect the space. And then maybe like you take a new lead sound and we're just gonna mute everything, just like a little bit cleaner. And then the next variation is just like same melody but different sound, and this is already like a huge freaking change in the track that you have. Very different vibe, right? Sounds like really, really different. Okay, so that's going to be the bass foundation formula. Let me know what you think, bro, in the comments. If you like this video, if you learned something new, I would appreciate if you just, yeah, give me some feedback if that was helpful. So that's going to be it for this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.